Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos.
Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick Q&A with our head coach Tom. I posted a video earlier in the week about coaching and why it's essential, and said I'd be doing a quick follow-up Q&A with Tom to obviously ask him a couple of questions about the coaching, his background in Forex, and so you can get a better insight of what's going on behind the scenes here at WB Trading. So without further ado, let's get into the Q&A. Okay, perfect. So, do you just want to start by introducing yourself and telling everyone a little bit about your background in Forex trading?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So I'm part of the team here and pretty much I suppose one half of the main coaching team. So myself, Tom, and Asri, we run the one-to-one calls with our traders. I've been doing that now since 2018. And I've been doing group calls with our traders twice a week. So we have a group call for our members on a Friday and on a Saturday. I've been doing those since early 2021. So quite a few years now. Apart from that, yeah, my general trading background, I started trading over 10 years ago now, which makes me sound pretty old actually when I think about it, man. That's quite a scary prospect. At university, did it for just under 2 years. It was I suppose how everybody starts trading in terms of not really a plan or a structure, a lot of
Yeah,
overconfidence, trying to jump in at random points with trades. Again, no journaling, no testing or anything, just thinking maybe I'll get lucky, which as most of, it kind of goes one way eventually. I did get quite lucky. I got a couple of big wins, which didn't help in the long run because then, the confidence builds when you
yeah,
really should be learning to be more cautious. And it hit me definitely. I can't remember specifically the exact trade, but I remember like about 3 weeks where I just lost pretty much everything I'd got over the last 6 months. And I
yeah.
just thought at that point, okay, maybe I'm not the genius that I thought I was. And so with that in mind, it was a case of, okay, I need to reset. And to be honest, it coincided quite nicely with, coming up to final year exams and probably me thinking, yeah, I do need to actually get a focus on what I'm doing here. And this trading stuff, it's obviously a lot more complicated than I thought. Let's leave it for the moment and we'll come back to it at a later date. But that was the kind of first trading experience I had. I then picked it up probably two and a half, 3 years later. So I've been working for a while, decided actually, let's have a look back at it. I was a bit more mature, a bit more sensible probably then. I'd obviously had that learning experience of getting burnt the first time and so approached it in a very different way. I did start out kind of completely on my own again, but went through and looked for strategies, did the kind of thing that a lot of traders do, went on YouTube, looked at what people were suggesting. Obviously, there's a lot of information out there that contradicts each other. So it gets a bit complicated and it gets a bit like you can't see the wood for the trees sometimes.
Yeah,
But at that point, I definitely had a bit more consistency, a bit more success, and then really
hmm
went into the point of saying, actually, you know, I need to get myself somebody to learn from, somebody that's done this. And I found Will at that point. Spent 2 years really learning all of his strategies. This was when he was growing as well at the start, when WB was really in its infancy.
yeah,
And after trading for another 2 years, really being successful and again implementing everything that I hadn't done before, implementing the testing, really sticking to my risk management policies, all the basic things that looking back now, you think, yeah, you should have done that from the very start, but it's so easy to
yeah,
miss. And then we really got into a situation where he said, look, you've done fantastically well. You've adapted to all the strategies that I've used. You've got yourself into this. So, what's the best way to look at it? The mindset of mechanical trading and the
yeah,
mentality of solid risk management, understanding the journaling, understanding the testing, being really proficient and rigorous with how you trade.
yeah.
And he was looking for another coach, and it was a great opportunity. I suppose never looked back from there really. But yeah, the trading has just kind of grown from there. The coaching has expanded massively. If you'd have asked me 10 years ago when I started trading, I'd have probably said I wanted to have a Lamborghini by now and stuff like that, and trade off my phone in the Bahamas and things. But actually,
Yeah.
looking now, I enjoy the coaching even more than the trading. It's strange to say, but yeah, that's kind of where we're up to at the moment.
Yeah, it's good to hear that, and it's apparent that trading's obviously taken you some years to kind of master and get the hang of, and it wasn't like a
Yeah.
overnight process. I know you were saying you started in university, so similarly to me, I started in university as
Yes,
well, and
exactly. Yeah.
when you're new to trading, trying to trade at university on top of doing exams and this and that, it's a lot to take in all at once, and it's
Oh
very
yeah,
easy to think, trading's
absolutely.
gonna happen overnight. So yeah, it's good to hear that, it's taken a long time for you to obviously
It does. I
master
made a lot of mistakes along
trading.
the way. And,
Yeah,
I look back and think, yeah, I should have got better advice at the start. I shouldn't have been so confident. It's something I hear from a lot of traders. Over the years, I've probably heard that more than anything else is that, I kind of went about it wrong.
hmm
People probably underestimated how difficult it is. And yeah, you can definitely, have a few wins at the start, get a bit of confidence built in, but long term, you need to put those principles in place. You need to have that risk management, have that journaling, have a clear strategy as well that you can follow and be consistent on that. Which, we both know now, having kind of gone through the alternative as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
for sure. And like you were saying, you obviously are enjoying the coaching here at WB, and this Q&A is kind of centered around the coaching here and
Yes.
what
Yeah.
we can offer. So for a beginner trader, what can our coaching offer to them?
So a mixture really, I think, of both the kind of knowledge and experience of my own trading, but also the fact that, now I've spoken to over 1,000 traders.
Yeah.
And so you see the problems that everybody else has. There's kind of core areas that people struggle with trading,
hmm
but there are always comes up on calls, interesting issues that I hadn't really considered and wouldn't have affected me as a trader starting out, but it will have
Yeah.
affected other traders. So I like to look at it that I've kind of got a weird library of knowledge of
Yeah.
seeing how so many different traders from so many different walks of life have approached this. And thinking about that and thinking about their problems and how they've kind of adapted to it, different to how I had to,
Yeah.
means that, as a coach, I'm pretty well prepared when I speak to traders. It's very rare now that I get something that comes up that really goes, this is an unusual case. It's usually
Yeah.
heard from this or a
For
similar
sure.
person before. So that's a big thing. I think also the fact that we can add that element of, realism to it, to be like, look,
hmm
we've been through this, we've gone through it with, as I said, thousands of traders in the past. We know what it takes, we know where to focus on, we know what to avoid. And so cutting out all of that kind of not, I suppose, misinformation that you get out there as well to give you a
Yeah.
clear path. And also, as I said, be realistic, tell people, look, you're not going to make thousands in the first week. You need to do the groundwork. It's like learning to drive, really. It's a case of
Yeah.
you're not going to go on the motorway in your first day. You're not going to be, racing around. You're just going to be learning to set off, and sometimes for people learning to drive, that's the thing that takes the longest. It took me ages to learn that kind of thing. And so once you get going, then yeah, you can see the benefit, you can see the rewards. And it's the same with trading, really. It's a case of get your kind of baseline, get everything that you need to know to start with before you even place a trade. There's so much there. Get that
Yeah.
in mind, get that lined
hmm
up, and then you're ready. And you're not going to make those mistakes when there's real money on the table. And I think having a coach, having somebody to guide you through that, as with anything in life, really, it
Yeah.
just means that it's going to feel like it takes longer at the start, but
hmm
overall, it's going to be a lot quicker for you to get where you want to be.
Yeah.
And of course, alongside that, just the technical questions, anything on the charting, etc., that I get asked that, yeah, trading is a world where we get a lot of terminology and a lot of software that's difficult to use if you've never seen it before. And so
Definitely.
that's where somebody with experience comes in and just can help you to point in the right direction, basically.
Yeah, and I think I made that mistake when I was new to trading was that when I obviously started on the course, you was one of the coaches at the you was obviously one of the coaches, and
Yeah,
I think I was a bit arrogant in the fact that I like to do everything myself, kind of look at the course content and then
that's
be
good
able
though.
to just,
That is good. It's
yeah, of
enthusiasm.
course, until you're going wrong and then you not realize you're going wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, when I first started, I wasn't necessarily using the coaching too much. I kind of didn't think I would see much benefit, and if I could watch all the course content, I'd be able to replicate it and go away and get similar results. And obviously, it wasn't until months or maybe even years down the line when I started booking in coaching calls with you is when
yeah,
I started to
yeah.
realize there's just little bits here and there that you might have missed or not picked up when you're going through the course, that obviously having a coach there to be able to guide you and assist you with them little things does go quite a long way. So yeah, having you as, I think you was probably my only coach that I've had whilst I'd been at WB Trading, but you did help me quite
No, I
significantly.
appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think everybody kind of gets the benefit in different ways. You know, some of our traders, they like the one-to-one calls because it's quite
Yeah.
detailed. You know, we're on for a while talking, we're going through
Mhm.
specific problems, you know, we're going through specific trades. But then other traders like to come along to the group calls and find the general aspects of trading. You know, they prefer that. And obviously some others prefer the
Yeah.
day-to-day of the Discord, you know, of the updates in the community, the live updates and the chats, you know, every morning when the trades start, which, you know, we're both a part of there as well with the rest
Yeah,
of the
sure.
community. So I think there's the different, you know, different ways of approaching it. I suppose
Mhm.
one thing that we have, I think that, you know, other places don't, is that variety in the coaching as well. That if you don't want
Yeah.
to speak to somebody on a one-to-one, you just want to listen into a group call, brilliant. You want to just chat on the Discord, great, it's there. You have a very specific issue, you want to go through you know, your journal in detail, the one-to-one is there for you as well, man. So I think we've addressed all those areas really well over the years, and it's probably the best place it's ever been at the moment.
Yeah. And moving on, I know you've kind of already answered that in what you've just said, but just to give some clearer indication, how would you tailor the coaching to fit the needs of each trader in specifically?
That is a very good question. So what we do right now is we have a kind of combined process where we have our accountability calls, where you'll get on with one of the team and they will go through a structured plan to say, okay, what's your goals in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And that won't be a call that is like primarily focused on the technical aspects of trading. That will be a
Mhm.
case of keeping you realistic on your goals and, you know, continually working towards them. And then what we will do on that call as well is to say, okay, well, the best way to achieve that is to jump on a call with Tom or to go through this part of the course or to watch these videos. And so we start off by tailoring it to what are the traders' needs. Are they looking to, you know, get a prop firm account? Are they just starting out? They want to get used to a broker? Are they looking to kind of refine their journal and just find some areas to improve? Are they looking to build a new strategy in? So we start with that kind of situation. Then on my call specifically, I always like to make sure I understand, you know, where the trade is coming from, what they've recently been doing in the last couple of weeks. So any particular issues that have come up, I'll have a
Yeah.
look as well before the call, you know, how long have they been with us? You know,
Mhm.
how much of the course have they had a look through? Have we had any previous calls, of course, that, you know, we can draw on that
Yeah.
experience, catch up with the team, whoever's had an accountability call with that trader, just to get an idea of, you know, what could be the concerns that as well. Booking in a one-to-one call with me, our traders can always leave notes to say what they would like to focus on, which most of our traders do. So I have a good idea there. And then what we can do is tailor that along to it. So, you know, if a trader comes to me and says, to be honest, Tom, I'd like some advice in, you know, okay, I'm placing alerts in my particular broker, but maybe I'm not getting them or I'm not able to, you know, manage my risk. You know, I'm looking at a couple of
Yeah.
strategies and I'm struggling with capital across them. What does margin mean? These kind of things. That's a very different call to say a trader that's coming along and literally just wants to learn, you know, the basics of how am I plotting out our momentum strategy, for example.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we try and tailor it like that through a combination of calls. And as a team in general, I obviously focus on it on my call and my time with that trader, and pointing them in the direction if there's resources that are going to be useful for them outside of the call, but also drawing on, yeah, what have they been like with their accountability call? How long have they been with us? Trying to draw all that out. And I keep a record and notes for every trader that I speak to. So
Mhm.
again, if I see a trader that's got a similar issue, I can realize, okay, I've already discussed this maybe 2 weeks ago with the trader and we resolve that problem. We'll do the same thing here and we'll point them in that direction as well.
How do you help traders turn their trading challenges into fun learning experiences?
That's quite difficult, I'll be honest. I mean, trading kind of inherently, it's a weird thing that I say to traders, I know, is that really we want to get to a point where trading is almost boring for us because then there's no emotion in that.
Yeah.
What we want to aim for is probably there's like a sweet spot of where it is interesting, of course, we want to continue, but we don't have those emotional reactions to the trades, which, you know, as you know, it's one of the things that I talk about in pretty much every call with traders. We want to try and reduce that emotion, you know,
Yeah.
be, you know, almost robotic in our approach there because the emotions tend to be the bit that really hurts traders in the long run.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line there. You're right. We want to make it interesting, but yeah, we want to keep emotion at bay. So in general, what I try
Mhm.
and get traders to do is to have a look at, again, the accountability calls help with this, look at their process and look at where they want to be in, say, 6 months' time, a year's time.
Yeah.
And we have like sort of bands really of, let's say they want to be earning X amount. We maybe say, okay, well, you're probably going to be in the range of a little bit over that or a little bit under that, depending on performance. So setting expectations is the first thing. And I try and get traders to be really sort of reserved with their expectations, to say, look, this is always going to be more difficult than you first imagine.
Yeah.
Everybody goes in and everybody starts out with trading expecting to do incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that it is tougher than most people, well, pretty much everybody
course.
thinks. And so you have to have that level of expectation. And I like to set that. And then I like to say, okay, but if we work through these processes, then you're going to get there a lot quicker than you probably think. And this is where I think speaking to traders regularly, catching up with them every week, catching up with them daily on the Discord, whether it's on group calls, etc., understanding progress. And obviously with a community as well, sharing progress, that we all have those wins at the same time. We're sharing those losses as well.
Yeah,
but then you can see there is a group effort there. And I think that makes it a lot more fun for traders. We see that, I suppose, just the last couple of days in the Discord where we've all had wins there. It's a collaborative effort. We have traders learning off other traders as well, which is fantastic to see. And so with that, I think there is that bit of interest and enjoyment that comes into it, because we can share in that long-term success with traders as well. It's a boring profession and it's a lonely profession at the end of the day. But I think with our community and having other traders to bounce off ideas from, and obviously the team there to speak to, it does make it a lot more interesting, probably as interesting as it possibly could be when we're trying to keep it very structured as well.
Definitely. And I think with coaching, some people kind of get the impression that, it's almost like it's a bit too much effort to have a coach and sit there and listen to all this information.
I can understand.
And I think the overall impression of coaching isn't obviously attached with the word fun, but I mean, with from my own experiences, what I used to do was, during the week's worth of trading, I'd always think of all these different questions about, whether I was placing my stop loss correctly, whether I was doing this right, that right. And then when it came to the end of the week, I'm not sure if you remember, but I'd usually come to you on a Saturday call with a list full of questions, and
I do, absolutely, man. Which I enjoy, and that's it. It's a challenge for me. It makes it fun for me at the end of the week as well. Find out new questions genuinely does from traders, to see, and especially as a coach from my side of the fence, seeing the traders that I've worked with for say 3, 4, 5 months get to where they want to be, that is just as good as where I've got to in those 3 or 4, 5, 6 months. It's fantastic to see that. I'm at a comfortable level with my trading now, so if I kind of continue on this scale for however long I still trade for, great. I'll be more than happy with that. What's great to see now is that the time you spend with traders means that they are advancing, and so that shared sense of success that you don't get if you're doing it on your own, and you don't get that if you're not in a trading community. You miss out on all of that, which is, I wouldn't like to go back to that now.
I think especially during the tough weeks, having that community there and people to bounce off and speak to definitely helps pick you up and helps you see the bigger picture of things.
Absolutely, as well. That's the other side of it. I should have mentioned that. Absolutely, man. That when it gets tough and you think the market is against you, having a community there to make sure that, maybe it's just not a great week. Sometimes we're not going to get fantastic weeks every time. Sort of sharing that with other traders and find out that maybe they're having a struggle this week as well. That gives you confidence as well, that it's not something because the worst thing for a trader is that they think they're doing something wrong and they make a change when actually they're not doing anything wrong. And then you get that spiral into constantly changing and never sticking to something long enough to see if it works. So having a community to back you up there in the good times and the bad times, it's really crucial there for a trader. Absolutely.
So a bit of an interesting question I have here is, what would you say is the most unique goal a trader has set, and kind of how did the coaching help achieve it?
That is a really interesting question. There's probably a few examples. I'm just trying to think of any standout ones. I suppose interesting ones, I'm going to kind of ignore all the people that have said, I'd like to make this much money, because that's quite a common one. And at the end of the day, the vast majority of people trading are there for a financial reason. So focusing in really, I had a trader recently that was literally, they were living on a boat So they were sailing around the world. They were in somewhere in the Caribbean when they were on a call with me. But
Yeah.
essentially they were saying, look, I want something as a job, as a profession that allows me to sail around. You know, I'm never going to be on land. I'm never going to be in an office. I'm going to be on this boat. And I
Oh,
thought,
wow.
actually, that is something pretty unusual, and trading allows you to do that. So in that
Yeah.
aspect, that was one that really stuck with me, thinking there is going to be somebody out there sailing around and they're just going to be on the laptop and that's what they're going to be achieving, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of nomadic approach, you know,
Mm,
something like trading is very rare that is going to align perfectly with that kind of life goal.
definitely.
In the same way, you know, I have people that say to me, okay, I'm going to spend 3 months in this country and then go traveling. You know, often that sort of flexibility that trading offers you and the goals that people set there, it really means it's something that we don't have to look at from a monetary point of view, but they
Yeah.
just have to look at in sense of I want to become a great trader, and then I can do
Yeah.
this, I can achieve those goals. So they're often the ones that stick with me the most, because I like to find out how people are doing then, you know, have they got away to wherever they want to go, where are they next, etc., how they're managing, you know, keeping up that trading and things.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, it's, you know, the aspect of people that want to look to move careers and things. That's always quite interesting. People who are learning trading just as a general skill as well. You know,
Yeah.
I often get a few people a year that just want to learn how to trade, just because then it's, you know, it's basically part of their skill set. And they
Yeah.
might be going
Sure.
into something finance related. They might be just looking really to understand how the markets work in a little bit more detail.
Mm,
And maybe in the future they will become a proper full-time trader potentially.
yeah.
They're often the most interesting ones, I would say, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, the flexibility kind of side of thing was one of the main reasons I got
Yeah.
into it as well. Just kind of being able to operate and work kind of freely and wherever you want. I think that's a big factor that comes to play for a lot of traders out there,
100%.
is the fact that the flexibility and the free time and this and that. So that's not surprising. But yeah, the boat story is quite
It
interesting.
struck me. It was a really good, like, feel good moment to be okay. Yeah, I can see. I mean, yeah, this guy had it brilliantly worked out. You know, it was something that kind of you think about it and you see on, you know, social media and think that is the kind of the life that all of us would probably enjoy.
Yeah,
And he
definitely.
was putting into practice. So he's in the community. We'll be catching up with him over the months, I'm sure, to find out where he's next. But it was
Yeah,
great to see somebody that had found the career or found the profession that allows them to do what they always wanted to do. And that
yeah.
was a nice feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of between the coaching sessions, what kind of additional support can traders kind of be expecting from WB Trading?
Oh, all sorts. I mean, I suppose one thing to point out is that, you know, this isn't just me there as the support. You know, as you know, we have the team, we have us both. We have the rest of the
Yeah,
team there that's there for the Discord. You know, to mention that is certainly the best starting point. You know, every day the team will be in the Discord. We'll be talking about our trades for that day. We'll just be talking about general trading topics. And we're in there for the support as well. You know, we have a dedicated support channel. If there are any issues, any questions to do with anything in the trading world, you can always drop the questions in there and they will be answered. I would like to say we get those answered within a couple of hours, you know, no matter
yeah,
what
we
time it is. The
yeah,
team
we do
is
try.
all over the world. You know, we have
Yeah.
team members from Australia through to America. You
Hmm.
know, pretty much every time zone is covered, which means that, you know, when, say, you know, you are not around and not available, the time's not right, one of the other team members will be there on Discord to pick it up. So that is the first place. And then, of
Yeah.
course, we have the group calls. So if you remember, you can watch all of the previous group calls for the last 3 years as well. And they cover pretty much, I would say, every topic to do with
Pretty
every
much
major topic
everything
to
you
do with
could think
trading.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everything you think of. So I get people are always coming up to me on the Discord and saying, you know, I watched this video from 2022. Is this still relevant? What do you think? You know, this was really useful because it was something that I'd never considered before.
Yeah.
Answers like that I think that evergreen content out there is so useful. Obviously, we've got the course as well. We've got email support if that is a preference. And then, yeah, as you said, we've got the accountability coaching, we've got the one-to-one coaching. But certainly the main thing and the thing that I think we hold in top regard is the fact that, you know, we're there every day, 7 days
Yeah.
a week as well on the Discord, you know, and I'm there for calls booked in every day of the week as well. You know, our other coaches are as well. So you won't go very long without being able to get in touch with somebody, whether it's on a call or on the Discord or via email. You know, there's so many
Yeah.
different ways to get that support there.
Definitely. And I think some people probably underestimate them pre-recorded Zoom links, because I remember when I was kind of getting back into trading a couple years ago now, and what I would
Yeah,
do was kind of sit there and go through all the pre-recorded Q&As, and what you don't
it's
realize is that
impressive, man.
in each of those Q&As, you've got members asking all these questions that they're uncertain of and they don't have any
Yeah.
idea of, but they're just common questions that you might not have even thought of yourself, or so I think for me, watching them Q&As went a long way because, not only are you getting the content that you're putting out there, but you're
Yeah.
also getting answers from questions that you may not understand as well. And they actually went quite a long way for me, them pre-recorded Q&A
Oh, I
calls.
appreciate that as well, man. Yeah, that's a good point that I really hadn't considered a huge amount. But yes, they are questions. Half of our calls are Q&A, so they're questions from our traders that I'll answer live. And so, yeah, if you've got a problem, chances are that somebody else might have a similar issue that they've mentioned, and I'll have covered it on a group call. So, no, absolutely, there's a
Definitely.
twofold benefit to those calls, which there are a lot of them to go through. There's a few hundred. It's quite a lot, quite a few hours of watching, man. So I appreciate you come through all of
Yeah.
those. That's pretty impressive. But
Mm.
obviously, I mean, they're all organized by topic. So yeah, if there's a
Yeah.
specific one you're looking for, it's pretty easy to find that topic in the group calls.
Yeah. So we have our normal trading coaching sessions. We have our
Yeah,
accountability coaching sessions, which, if you're not aware, with our other member staff, Carl.
yeah,
And within them, we kind of set some goals for traders to hit or
yeah,
try and achieve. So when traders hit them goals, how do we celebrate them kind of milestones and goals with the traders?
yeah. It's one of the best parts, really, for me of doing this kind of role, certainly. So we have a few different ways of doing that. We have a Trader of the Month competition in our
Mhm.
community. There are a couple of different prizes for that. We do things like Trader of the Month, Most Improved Trader, Best New Trader. We look at those aspects.
Yeah.
Um, and we also go through with that individual trader to say, okay, that we'll have a call with them. I will have an extra call just to basically catch up and be like, this is fantastic. We will
Yeah.
share the results with our other team members as well, or other community members to say, trader A has achieved, their funded account, or they've worked through the full course, they've got started, they've placed their first trade. Any of those important milestones, depending on what that trader is looking to achieve, we will celebrate that. And, we'll get on a call with you, obviously. As you know, trading really, it's kind of the education sort of never stops. So we'll always be looking at
Yeah.
the next part as well with them. We want to make sure that, you keep your feet on the ground a little bit, but also, you're in that mindset of saying, right, what's next for me? So we'll make sure we have that balance of success, but also progress as well to say, okay, let's step up and let's have a look at what's next. Keep you constantly improving as a trader
Yeah.
as well. We don't want to say to a trader, you've come along, you've had your first accountability call, you say, I'd like to be up and running in a month and placing live trades. If
Mhm.
we get you there, and we will, we don't want to just say, right, that's you done. Okay, bye-bye. We want to keep working with you consistently.
Yeah, so it's good for traders to have some kind of incentive to kind of work towards their goals in the end
Yeah,
because, obviously, like we were saying, they'll get some reward out of hitting them kind of milestones and goals
absolutely.
that they have in
Absolutely.
place.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of overall, they were the questions that I had to you about the coaching. Um,
Good man.
Hopefully I've covered most of the questions that some of you at home might have been having there. And hopefully Tom's answered them good enough for you.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah,
Fingers
absolutely.
crossed. But yeah, like always, Tom, it has been a pleasure having you on the call today.
Thank you, man. No, always fun to talk about it. I think that, as I said, when I started trading, I look back now and think the one thing I wish I'd done was spoken to somebody that was kind of further along than me in
Hmm.
terms of their trading experience. And yeah, I know it sounds kind of cliched, but myself and the rest of the team, and you will share this, I'm sure, as well,
Yeah,
seeing the success of our community and working with people in that community, it's just as good as getting the success ourselves as well.
yeah,
It's a big
definitely.
part of big part of my week now in my life, really, to do coaching and do the support there. And I wouldn't change a thing of it. Absolutely, Matt. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, thank you for the
I'm
questions.
glad I'm
Absolutely.
glad it's enjoyable for you. But yeah, and even like I was saying, I mean, I was struggling massively without having a no, I wouldn't say I was struggling massively. And similarly to what you were saying, in a sense where it was like you was trading at the beginning and you were
Yeah.
getting all these big wins and you thought you were trading it right. And what I used to do, I didn't even place the correct stop loss. Like, we have our stop loss ranges and
Yeah.
so on.
Yeah, of
I
course.
wasn't using the correct stop loss. I was using short take profit targets, and I was consistently hitting trades for a few weeks in a row. So I wasn't under the impression I was doing anything wrong. And it literally wasn't until having a coach and I started to realize, you know what, I'm trading this wrong. And since then it has helped my trading massively. So I just want to kind
Absolutely.
of thank you, and
No,
obviously
I
the other
appreciate
team
it.
members that did help me on my journey. But
Well, no, I think with that as well, it's part of that is obviously, what's inspired you to come on and join the team, then I guess,
yeah,
you've seen that. And
definitely.
then you can take that experience you've had working with me and now working with the rest of the community, it's the kind of pass it forward approach that, that really helps. And what we're trying to do there is, develop people that are great traders, but also our more experienced community members are there to support the new community members. And that will become a cycle there where, the more people we have in the community, the better the support will be.
Exactly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thanks a lot for that, Tom.
Not
I'm
a
sure
problem,
we'll
man.
catch up soon.
Absolutely. We'll speak soon.
But yeah,
Pleasure to be here,
thanks
man.
for that, man. Take care, yeah?
Yeah. Bye. Bye.